Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 11 in the 2020 NOFSRL Haas IndyCar Series. We are here for the first time ever on Napa Fan at the Mid-Ohio SportsCar Course in Lexington, Ohio. This the Honda Indy 65K, 18 laps of action around this 2.25 mile road course in Lexington, Ohio, and it's going to be a fun one here. And unfortunately, the real-life races that were supposed to be here got postponed to later on in the year. But we're still here, so hopefully you can enjoy some IndyCar action from the Mid-Ohio SportsCar Course this weekend. Either way, join alongside Mike and Nat for this one. This is your home racetrack. Pretty big deal to have our first ever race here and you be in the booth with me, but it's going to be an interesting race right entering Thunder Alley. Going off into that corner, these guys tend to overshoot it, and that might be the deciding factor on who wins this race. How are these guys going to manage that corner here today at the Mid-Ohio SportsCar Course?
Yeah, well, as soon as you apex that right-hander, you start to go downhill. It's a very narrow racetrack, and if you don't get the line just right, it's going to spit you right into the sand trap and maybe even into the wall. So these drivers are going to have to be very careful. This track has a lot of elevation change, and you can start to get sloppy if you don't get your line just right. Yeah,
it's a very technical road course here at the Mid-Ohio SportsCar Course. One of the tightest road courses we go to on the circuit. Of course, a lot of the road courses we go to here in the Haas IndyCar Series are those wide, sweeping road courses like Riverside, Road America, Watkins Glen, which is going to be next week, by the way. So definitely a big race here setting up into that dual lap at Glen, because those are two races there next weekend, and the championship could easily change by the time we get to the end of next weekend. And speaking of the championship, Chase Harris, still the points leader, did not have a good day at Pikes Peak. 309 points towards the championship. Peyton Hamilton, though, won that race. She moved up to second in the points, only 79 points behind. But Nicholas Zambadillo, two-time winner this season, won the Indy 250 and also won Portland. He is 87 points behind coming into this race, and you see him there starting on the outside pole. Tristan Allen, 89 points behind, also starts inside the top 10, and Mitchell Collins, 90 points behind coming into today's event. And we'll get these guys to roll off here with Mason Brown, the pole sitter, won the pole yesterday in qualifying, a bonus point towards the championship for him. Like I mentioned, alongside him, it's Nicholas Zambadillo in the number 9, looking for his third win of the season, and that would closely rival Chase Harris's 4 wins on the year. We'll have to see if he can pull that off. In row number 2, it's Garrett Zenor, starting to the outside of Francois Chastain. A huge opportunity for Garrett Zenor here at Mid-Ohio to break that long losing streak that's been going on since November of 2017 on Napa Fan. A great opportunity for Garrett Zenor here today. John Andrews alongside Igor Barretto in row number 3. There is Tristan Allen alongside Noah Clifton there in row 4. And Max Anderson starts alongside Audra Baranowskis in row number 5. See, Chase Harris there, our points leader, starting in the 11th position. And he's got to be careful, because if he wrecks out in this race, Zambadillo and Allen are both inside that top 10, and they could easily close right in on Chase Harris in the points. And also Peyton Hamilton and Mitchell Collins, they start alongside each other there in row number 7. They're also going to have a good opportunity of possibly surpassing Chase Harris in this race and closing up to him in the points. But either way, 30 drivers in the field. It's an 18-lap race. We'll have a pit stop just past halfway. Who do you think is going to go to victory lane here today, the Mid-Ohio SportsCar Course?
Well, I really like that 19 of Garrett Zenor. He hasn't had a lot to talk about this season. He started up front at Indy, hasn't really had much luck since, and with a good starting spot here at a track that's very difficult to pass, I think he's got a pretty good shot.
We're going to have to see what Garrett Zenor can do here today at the Mid-Ohio SportsCar Course. He does come into this race 9th in points, did have a good run at Pikes Peak, moved up 4 positions in the point standings, and if he gets a win here today, he could shoot himself inside the top 5, just like Peyton Hamilton did last week at Pikes Peak. When she was in the 8th position in points, she moved up to 2nd with that race victory. It's a huge swing in points when you get a race victory, because the points get more and more the farther up through the field you go. It's 50 points for the win, but for 10th it's only 22 points, so a big swing there inside that top 10. And we're going to have to see who finishes inside the top 10 here today. Either way, looking forward to see how this all goes down. Mason Brown is the official pole sitter. He will lead the field of the green flag, and he'll have the inside through turn number 1. But alongside him, two-time Indianapolis 250 champion Nicholas Zambadillo. Let's see how this all goes down. We're green flag racing in Honda Indy 65K at Mid-Ohio. already. Such a great start there for the driver of the number 37, Mason Brown. He's going to pull away to the race lead. Sam Medeo looking to the inside of Francois Chastain for second, and Sam Medeo looks to have won that battle right there. Senor right behind these guys at the moment, and Chastain with a run to the outside right now on the number 9.
Yeah, we made it through the first passing zone of the racetrack fairly cleanly. They're still side by side for second place, heading into the second good passing zone of turn 3 up through the S's of turns 4 and 5. Here comes
Sam Medeo's off the racetrack, and he's going to have to collect his thoughts right there, and he will fall back to third. How about Chastain? Did not give up, and he's going to get to the second position, but here we go. This is the turn we're talking about right here. Entering Thunder Alley right here, and it looks like everyone's going to get through it all right this time around. Fading off a little bit. Chase Harris off a little bit right there, and Harris in the battle right now with Andrew Miller. And I'm trying to see here. They're still side by side as they go through Thunder Alley. He's got to be careful not to get involved in an accident there with the number 48 machine. Nathan Faden right ahead of those guys. It's a tight battle, and Chase Harris not in the best of positions right now as both Sam Medeo and Allen are ahead of him on the racetrack. Lap number 1 led by Mason Brown, and the number 37. A great opportunity for him to get a race victory there for Joe Autosport. Francois Chastain, Garrett, or should I say Nicholas Sam Medeo, Garrett Senor, and Agar Barretto. Tristan Allen there in 7th as Chase Harris is in the 13th position. Lost a couple of positions right there on the first lap.
Yeah, and you see these guys single filed out except for Miller. And one driver we haven't talked about a whole lot this season, Dale Lightning in the 5 car, having a pretty good run. You're seeing these guys draft down that back straightaway. The draft is going to play a key factor here, especially since the straightaways are so long. And we had one car go off there. I believe that was the 3 of Max Anderson.
And Max Anderson got a little wide there off the corner. Mason Brown going a little wide right there.
Oh, my goodness.
Chastain really off, and they're going to be doing that a lot today. Sam Medeo did the same thing. Senor's going to get a run on him, but it's really tough. You know, you can get that run on the guy off that corner. Senor goes wide off of Thunder Alley, and here comes Agar Brother, the outside of him through the carousel. That's a battle for 4th right there, but Senor will hold on. And like you mentioned, it's a difficult place to make a pass, not because there aren't any opportunities, but the twists and turns. You get a left-hander, then you get a right-hander, and you'll have an advantage on a guy at one point, and then you won't have that advantage the next lap around. So that's what appears to have happened there between Garrett Senor and Agar Brito for those positions. Didn't mention John Andrews there, sitting in 6th. Great run for him, and Andrews 11th in the points coming into this race, so he still has a shot at the championship. And then we mentioned Max Anderson, who went off a little bit earlier. Noah Clifton, Audra Baranowski. Things have cycled through pretty well at the moment. Chase Harris currently in the 13th position right now, and still in the 13th position. However, Peyton Hamilton got around him right there, and Hamilton looking to gain a couple of points on him. So the way things are currently running right now, Harris's points lead will be smaller heading into the duel at the Glen. And then we have 2 races there at Watkins Glen, so it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Mason Brown here, and the number 37, though, continues to lead, but he's way off the racetrack. Same with Francois Chastain. And Sam Medeo is one of these guys who seems to have been rolling that corner a lot better. Barretto's going to have another chance here in Garrett Senor, but it's so hard to get that inside there through Thunder Alley. And Sam Medeo looks like he overshot the exit just a little bit right there.
Yeah, Sam Medeo has been handling the S's a lot better as well. That number 9 car is strong in comparison to the 2 leaders who keep seeming to overshoot the corners. So we'll see what Sam Medeo can do with that.
Nathan Staplin. I think Staplin was a guy who did start up front for this race, and he has fallen off the pace. It looks like he might have gotten off the racetrack somewhere, and tough break there for Nathan Staplin, who came in 7th in the points. That's going to hurt him tremendously in the championship fight. Starting to spread out a little bit up front. Mason Brown pulling out to a 1.32 second lead on Francois Chastain. Then it's Nicholas Sam Medeo, Garrett Senor, and Agar Barretto. Still the same top 10. However, that one turn right there is going to affect the outcome of this race, and we've seen a lot of these guys overshoot. And I would imagine that Staplin might have been one of those guys who completely overshot it and went into the tire barrier.
Yeah, that very well could be. It's an interesting characteristic because you come off of turn 6 under that bridge as Mason Brown goes off, Chastain and Sam Medeo all go off. Same with Senor. The top 4 there all went into the sand. So we were just talking about how San Mateo stuck it pretty well through that corner as Sidnor goes off again, coming into the carousel.
And it looks like
Barretto
Barretto. This one's going to be tight. If he can hold it off of the carousel, I think Barretto's going to get the position. Max Anderson has just gotten around Tristan Allen, and Chase Harris in a battle right there with Dale Lightning for 14th. It looks like Harris had a tussle there with the 5. Barretto will get around Garrett Sonora for the 4th position, and Max Anderson just got around Allen for 6th. Or should I say for 7th, excuse me. But they're jamming it up back in there for that 4th position. Sonora right on the gearbox of Barretto at the moment. And then John Anderson going to strike if those guys tussle in a little too much. Max Anderson and Tristan Allen with Noah Clifton and Audrey Baranowskis currently in the top 10 here at Mid-Ohio. But Mason Brown, all he's got to do is run a clean race. Of course, Francois Chastain is not letting him get away with this one quite yet. But both these guys looking for their first win of the season. And a huge opportunity here as they're leading the field. But right behind them, it's Nicholas San Mateo. And we remember what happened at Portland. He was the race leader there in that event. San Mateo's going to actually go a little wide there while the 2 leaders took a more conservative line into the corner. We're going to have to see if anybody gains any time off of that one. But Thunder Alley, the entrance and the exit, 2 of the most treacherous parts on this racetrack. And that's where we're seeing a lot of these guys lose time and lose positions.
Yeah, coming off of 6th up into Thunder Valley, those 2 turns just spit you toward the outside wall. So you've really got to line your car up correctly. And you got to try and brake in as straight of a line as you can. Else you're going to lock up the left front tire, and it's going to send you off. Chase Harris made another pass there, moving him up another position, trying to catch last week's winner of Peyton Hamilton. Trying to... Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, he got up to the 12th position right there. Got off the keyhole a little bit bad, though, and here comes Faden, who we just passed for that 12th position right there. Peyton Hamilton, though, still ahead of him. Same with Tristan Allen and Nicholas San Mateo. So Harris will not have that large points lead, or as large of a points lead heading into Watkins Glen this weekend if things stay the way they are. However, Harris was able to make a move right there. He got John Anders looking there on Max Anderson. Hamilton going a little wide. That's going to open the door for Harris possibly to make a move for that position. Barretto off there, entering Thunder Alley, and he got the number 19 there of Garrett Sonora looking to get back by him. And now you got Max Anderson moving up yet another position, and Allen falling back yet another position. Noah Clifton going to get around the 39, and Audrey Baranowskis has a run to the inside, but not going to be able to do it right there. But Allen falling back, and Anderson moving up. Anderson now up to the 6th position as he's gotten around John Andrews.
Yeah, Baranowskis came in 2nd place last week, trying to gain as many spots as she can today. Unfortunately, though, like I said, this track very difficult to pass on, very technical. And one thing I have noticed, these guys taking very unconventional lines through the keyhole turn. Some people are going lower, but a lot of people are ringing it around that outside lane, and that might help them get a better run down the straight. I don't know, never quite seen that tactic done here before.
Yeah, these guys have an interesting line here at Mid-Ohio, no doubt about it. Obviously, there will be differences between the game and in real life. That's just the way it goes. Allen used that momentum to his advantage a little bit, had a run on Clifton, but had nowhere to go with it. But while they're all doing that, top 3 have separated themselves out quite a bit. We're expecting the cycle of pit stops to occur beginning lap 10 into lap 11. And we'll have to see how that affects the field. But Mason Brownson, all he's needed to do here today, dominating this race so far, he's led every lap, and if he leads the most laps, it's 2 extra bonus points towards the championship for him. And Brown came into this race 22nd in points, so it's not really going to help him too much in the championship. However, a win could shoot him up inside the top 15, and another win could put him even closer to the top of the board. So you rack up wins. I mean, just ask Chase Harris. You get wins, you get points. And Harris now looking to get around Peyton Hamilton here. Harris is coming much closer to Tristan Allen on the racetrack right here, and that might be a bit of a cause for concern for that 39 team. They've been slipping up just a little bit here these past few laps, but Harris seems to have a stronger car out here, looking to get around Peyton Hamilton for the 11th position.
Yeah, these guys are going to have to fight for every spot here as Harris trying to get a run down the long back straightaway heading into turn 3. So they go up through the S's now.
Chase Harris All he's got to really do in these last few races is hold on to a few top 10s, and the championship is essentially his. And currently running in the 11th position, a really strong run. He's got 6 top 10s on the year. Wouldn't be a top 10 there finishing in 11th if that's where he were to finish. But still looking pretty good right now for Chase Harris. They still have to get through a cycle of pit stops, so a lot of time can be gained or lost on that cycle. And it's going to be interesting to see how it affects the outcome of the race. But Mason Brown, if he has a good pit stop, I think this race is his to lose. And seen a really clean run out of Mason Brown so far on this one. Francois Chastain is losing some time to Nicholas Samedeo. And obviously Samedeo wants to be in that capper position if something happens to Mason Brown. He got to win at Portland because Marty Johnson had a tire go down there and he was in second, drove right by him. So Samedeo, now he's the old guy, old veteran looking to get around Chase Harris in this championship. Of course, Peyton Hamlin also a rookie. She's trying to go for this championship as well. But I don't think she'll gain near as much as Samedeo will. And with Samedeo currently running there in the 3rd position, Samedeo would gain a good, considerable amount of points on Chase Harris and also surpass Peyton Hamilton in the championship the way things are currently running. Next time by, we will be halfway through Honda Indy 65K. Mason Brown, number 37, continues to dominate here at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, Samedeo's catching Chastain. As I say that, though, Samedeo goes wide into the sand trap off of the top of the hill there, coming down the hill. That 9 car was catching second place, but going to lose a bit of time there. Garrett Senor rounding out the top 5, having a good run. Here comes Baranowskis around the outside.
Oh,
now
a great
the inside
run there, Tristan Allen. Allen's going to fall yet another position here. He started in 7th. He's now down to 10th. And someone's going to come down right here. Mitchell Collins going to play a little strategy. He's midway through the field. He's one of these guys who's in championship contention, 90 points behind Chase Harris. Maybe looking to get a bit of a tire advantage on the rest of these guys and have a shot at possibly surpassing Chase Harris on the racetrack. He is the only guy down that lap. We are past halfway here in Honda Indy 65K, so it will be a one-stop race for the field. But we'll have to see where Collins comes out in an advantage to everybody else. He actually pulled a very similar strategy at Pikes Peak last weekend, and he ended up getting a pretty decent run out of it because of it. He's off the pit lane. He's done with his pit stop, and he's still ahead there, I believe. No, he's actually behind the D34 Nathan Stapleton right now. Obviously, Stapleton had an issue and is essentially on the tail end of the lead lap. Brown off the racetrack quite a bit right there, but he's got such an advantage on Francois Chastain that I don't think it's going to hurt him too much. And these guys inside the top 10 have spread out quite a bit at this point. Closest battle going on right now is Tristan Allen and Audrey Baranowskis. And then, behind all that, it's pandemonium. All these guys right on each other throughout the entire field. Matt Tuck off the racetrack a little bit right there. Luke Rainey might get a run. They have a side-by-side battle right here, and Rainey's going to grab that position away from the 28 machine. But here we go. They're going to come down the pit lane this time by. Most of them will come down the pit lane this time by. A couple guys still staying out there. Mason Brown, 37. Baranowskis and Tristan Allen going to stay out. They're going to play a different strategy compared to the rest of the field. Same with Dale Lightning. Keegan Thompson in the 4. Owen Miles, Jordan Lopez, Davey Johnson, Luke Rainey, Matt Tuck, Nathan Smith, and Justin Zidell. Stapleton made his stop. He's coming off the pit lane. Mason Brown in the 37 will be the first driver off. We'll have to see. Francois Chastain not going to be too far behind him. Samedeo going to jump out ahead there of Edgar Barreto. And here's Mitchell Collins in the number 8. That strategy worked out very well for Collins. And he's going to be in a battle for what I would presume be 3rd right there with Nicholas Samedeo. He's going to take that position away from him, and he's got all the speed, and he's got the warm tires. And now he's going to look to possibly chase down Mason Brown and Francois Chastain. But how about that move out of the number 8 of Mitchell Collins? He's going to gain a ton of ground on the field because he came in one lap before everybody else.
Yeah, to the people who stayed out, that's just going to hurt them in the long run because now they have a tire disadvantage to the rest of the field now. I think Baranowskis is leading that strategy here. She's going to stay out another lap, so surprising move by the 27 there.
And
but
here comes
the longer
Keegan Thompson. They're going to try to stretch it as much as they can here, but I just don't see that being a good move for those guys. It will be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out here at Mid-Ohio. A lot of guys continuing to stay out here on the racetrack, but I would imagine these guys are going to have to come down at some point. We saw Keegan Thompson come down right there. Luke Rainey also down. He's one of those guys who stayed out as well. Francois Chastain looking to be a little bit closer right here to Mason Brown. It won't be a complete sweep for Mason Brown. He won't lead every lap as Baranowski still holds on to the race lead. You got the number 4 right there. Look at what the 4 did. He was able to actually gain some ground. Keegan Thompson gonna jump Nicholas Samadillo, and I'm thinking this might be the strategy for these guys. You come down a little bit later, you maybe go gas only, and because you have that shorter pit stop, you're able to jump the field a little bit better, and because you'll have less time, you'll be able to jump the field and be able to hold them off on those last couple of laps. So we could be seeing some strategy play out of Baranowski and Allen and Dale Lightning to possibly jump the field and get a good finish in this race. Baranowski in the 27, though, still staying out there. Same with Tristan Allen. Dale Lightning is going to abort to the pit lane right there. And same with Davey Johnson. Matt Tuck in the 28 going to stay out as well. Nathan Smith, Justin Zaidel. So it's a very interesting strategy. These guys slowly peeking into the pit lane. Can't imagine that these guys are going to be able to make it the whole way. But, they're going to see what they can do here on this strategy. They're looking to gain some time here. There's Dale Lightning coming off the pit lane in the number 5 machine. He was the first one to come down that time around. Mason Brown will still beat him, but Lightning might get out ahead of Francois Chastain. Chastain's going to have a huge advantage here in the number 62 machine. Davey Johnson's also going to gain a ton of ground. And you got to think, what does this do for Chase Harris? Harris, you know, he's losing positions to these guys as they're jumping him on the racetrack. He's currently 23rd right now. That is not a good position at all. Samadillo, once this whole thing cycles through, I would presume would be inside the top 10. And Tristan Allen is one of those guys playing that strategy. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Allen ends up jumping a considerable amount on Chase Harris in the points along with Nicholas Samadillo. Here's Baranowski, your race leader, still staying out. Tristan Allen going to stay out as well that lap. Here's Owen Miles in the 38, going to pull that same strategy. Same with the 14 of Jordan Lopez. We'll see with Matt Tuck here in the 18, Justin Zaidel, Nathan Smith. None of the guys came down that time around. Now the big question is, will Mason Brown, who is currently 24 seconds off here, will he end up jumping the field and possibly getting to those guys who are still out there? Because he's got the fresh tires. He's obviously going to be much faster on the racetrack. These guys know that if they come down the pit lane, they're going to lose the race lead, and it's going to be very interesting to see if they try to stretch it as far as they possibly can to get ahead of Mason Brown once the cycle ends.
Yeah, I don't see this strategy paying off too well. I don't know, though, the later you pit, the less fuel you got to put in the car, so the pit stops might be slightly shorter for Baranowski, and we'll see how it goes. Baranowski going off the tracks. Not good to see from the race leader.
She's definitely pushing it out, trying to get as much as she can out of that car. She's got 24 seconds on Mason Brown. So when she does come down the pit lane, we'll have to see when that's going to be. It looks like they're going to stay out one more lap here. Owen Miles as well. Owen Miles is finally going to make his stop. There's Jordan Lopez. He's going to stay out. Matt Tuck's going to come down the pit lane, and same with Nathan Smith. This is getting interesting, because you know at some point Baranowski and Allen are going to have to come down the pit lane. Justin Zaidel in the 24 as well. It's all about the tires at this point, I do believe. There's Matt Tuck in the 28 machine. I don't know if he's gotten to his pit stall yet. He has. They're side by side off the pit lane right here. Mason Brown has surpassed those guys. Look at this. Look at the advantage they got. They're going to jump up to second now. And I'm wondering, too, because, you know, like you mentioned, the later you come in, the less fuel you have to put in the tank. And because of that, I think these guys are getting an advantage on Mason Brown. Well, they're not getting an advantage on Mason Brown, but they are getting an advantage on a lot of these other guys. And, you know, Samadillo's fallen back. He's lost a lot of positions because of it. Look at how far up Matt Tuck jumped the field because of that. He was really deep in the field, and if this thing cycles through, once it cycles through, he's going to have a very good finish in this race, most likely. Baranowski and Allen, they're playing the smart strategy by staying out here a little bit longer. Allen in the 39, he's finally going to make his stop. How far can Baranowskis go? Jordan Lopez also going to play another lap out here. And Justin Zaidel in the 24 also. They are the only 3 guys who have yet to make a pit stop in this race. Baranowskis, Lopez, and Zaidel. And it's a fuel-only stop here for Tristan Allen. Just a gas and go to be able to make it to the end. Here's Mason Brown. He is coming off of turn number, I think, 14, I believe. And Tristan Allen, in the number 39, is going to jump him.
On a track that's so difficult to pass, these drivers have been making up positions on the pit lane, and it's going to pay off for Tristan Allen. Let's see if he can hold on to the lead with just 3 laps to go here at the Mid-Ohio SportsCar Course.
Well, you got to remember, too, that the 14, the 27, and the 24, all still out there, have yet to make their stops. Obviously, they're coming to 2 laps to go. Obviously, it seems like the later you come down, the better of an advantage you get. We saw what happened with Tristan Allen. He was the first driver to pull that strategy to jump Mason Brown on the racetrack. Here's Baranowskis in the 27, and she will stay out yet another lap. So next time by, it's going to be the white flag. She's going to try to stretch the fuel out. I just don't know if she can do that. Lopez cannot. And Justin Zaidel is going to stay out as well.
Did not think this race would come down to a fuel strategy, but if Baranowskis could steal this win away after coming in second place last week, that's going to be a big boost in points for the number 27.
It definitely will be. I think she wants to stretch it as much as she possibly can before she has to come down the pit lane here. It's Baranowskis and Zaidel, the only 2 guys who have yet to make their stop. Tristan Allen currently leading of all those other guys. Lopez going to jump the field quite a bit right here. And Sam Medeo is going to fall back a little bit farther than what he was originally running. And Chase Harris is really going to lose a lot. He lost a lot of ground on the pit stop to begin with, and he's fallen back really deep in the field. So Baranowskis and Justin Zaidel, last 2 guys to come down the pit lane here in Honda Indy 65K action from Mid-Ohio. Definitely a much different race than what we thought was going to happen. Baranowskis in the number 27 is going to make her stop right here. Justin Zaidel in the 24, we'll have to see what he does. I don't think he's going to be able to make it. But on the pit lane, it's the white flag here at Mid-Ohio for Audra Baranowskis. She has to come down. Zaidel has to come down. Where will she come in relation to Tristan Allen? That's the big question. Number 27 is going to be gas and go. She's coming off right now. Allen is now coming off of the final corner. And Baranowskis in the 27 has jumped Allen on the racetrack. Will the 39 have any momentum to get to the 27? It's a really large gap between the top 2. Either way, this is going to work out so well for Tristan Allen in the points. But Audra Baranowskis in the number 27 looking to get her first win in quite some time here in the Haas IndyCar Series. Her last win came in the Indianapolis 250 last year. And she's looking to make it 2 in a row for females here in the Haas IndyCar Series. And given that she does not have an issue on this final lap, she will get the race victory here in Honda Indy 65K. What a race this was, trying to figure everything out on the pit strategy. She waited until the last lap to get her fuel, and it looks like it's going to pay off here at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, I would have thought, if you told me that this was going to be a fuel strategy race, I would probably laughed in your face. Baranowskis going off in that corner one more time for good measure. The way she's been taking that line, you'd think that there was an advantage. But the 27 coming up into the carousel, what a brilliant fuel strategy for Baranowskis.
Audra Baranowskis in the number 27. Gonna get another win in the Haas IndyCar Series. She's gonna win Honda Indy 65K here in Mid-Ohio. Tristan Allen will finish in second. Then it'll be Mason Brown, Jordan Lopez, and Francois Chastain, the top 5 here at Mid-Ohio. Nicholas Samadio, he is going to finish in the 9th position and super deep in the field. 23rd for Chase Harris in the number 79. And now, this championship's going to get interesting because both Tristan Allen and Nicholas Samadio, with their strategy, going to jump a little bit closer to Chase Harris in the points. And even Audra Baranowskis with this win, I mean, those are 2 really strong runs in a row for the lady. And she is going to be A lot higher than the 16th in the points. She gained 7 points after finishing second last week at Pikes Peak. We'll have to see how many points she gains after this one, but what a race right there. Did not think that was going to happen, but apparently the later you stay out, the better of an advantage you get, and that's what Audrey Barnauskas did. She wins Honda Indy 65K here at Mid-Ohio. Take a look at the official standings right there. Definitely an interesting race. It looks like we may have had a bit of an issue between maybe Mitchell Collins and Matt Tuck. They both fell to the back of the field. And obviously we had Stapleton with his issue as well. But how about that race? I mean, you said you didn't think pit strategy was going to come into play, but it did. And Audrey Barnauskas steals a victory here at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, great run for that 27. Mitchell Collins and Matt Tuck were a couple people who successfully jumped the field, so I don't know what happened between them, but for them to finish next to last and last, assuming there's only 28 cars,
there's 30 cars, but they did 30. Fall to the back. They pretty much fell to the back of the field there. So we're going to go ahead and see what happened between those guys and also check in on what happened to Nathan Stapleton. But Audrey Barnauskas gets the race victory here at Mid-Ohio. So this was on the final lap. Matt Tuck and Mitchell Collins, they didn't have any contact, but when they came down for their initial stop, they did not pack it full of fuel or enough fuel to make it to the end. They tried the strategy and it did not work out. And unfortunately, they're going to lose a ton of ground in this race, and that's going to really hurt Mitchell Collins. He was 90 points behind coming into this race, and he's going to be a lot more than that at the end of the day here at the Mid-Ohio SportsCar Course. But either way, a very interesting race here from Mid-Ohio. Nathan Stapleton also on the first lap of the race had to come down the pit lane and service his race car, so he also had a problem, a mechanical problem at the beginning there. Tough break for Stapleton, but either way, it was actually a very clean race. No one was actually knocked out because of accidents, and definitely a very fun race. Came down to the pit strategy. And now we're going to head into a race where we won't have pit stops because they are a couple of shorter races. Watkins Glen International for the duel at the Glen. How do you think that's going to play out in the championship? Obviously, Tristan Allen and Nicholas Samanio both are going to close in on Chase Harrison the points after today. And we could easily be looking at the end of next week that someone else could be the points leader here in the Haas IndyCar Series.
Yeah, having two back-to-back races can definitely shake up the points. It's almost like having a double points race, like they would in real life. But it'll be a challenge, especially racing back-to-back, which are already tired from the first one. But I just want to, once again, plug Audrey Barnauskas. What a great drive today. First time the series has come to Mid-Ohio. It was a very interesting race, and she took advantage of a fuel strategy, and she definitely deserved that win.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I didn't think the fuel strategy would come into play. Everyone had to make a pit stop, but some guys had different ideas on how to make it to the end. Barnauskas had the right idea. Same with Tristan Allen. Allen's going to gain a lot of points because of that. That's a huge win. That's a win in my book for Tristan Allen here at Mid-Ohio. But either way, like we mentioned, next weekend it's Super Glen Week. Obviously, we got 2 races in the Haas IndyCar Series next week at Watkins Glen. Those things are going to be fun. And like I mentioned, there aren't going to be any pit stops in those races because they are a little bit shorter. So that could definitely play into how the whole race plays out. Obviously, we had pit stops in this race, and pit strategy was very key. But at Watkins Glen, it's about the racing. It's about getting the runs. It's about guys getting retired from the event. And qualifying is going to be really important because there won't be any pit stops in the event. So going to be fun to see how it all plays out next weekend in the Super Glen Week for the Haas IndyCar Series, Turkey Hill Series, Chick-fil-A Cup Series, New Era Cup Series, and Body Armor Cup Series. So many guys going to Watkins Glen next weekend. We're definitely looking forward to that. But this weekend, NOFSRL 500, tomorrow 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Big race in Michigan for the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, Crown Jewel event. Going to be fun to see who gets it on that high-speed 2-mile oval in Brooklyn, Michigan. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Audrey Barnauskas on her race victory. And thank you to Matt Tuck for... wrong person. Thank you to Mike and Nat for joining me here from Mid-Ohio. And he'll definitely be on the broadcast for a couple more races this season. And we're looking forward to seeing how the season plays out. Only 5 races remain. We'll have to see who gets it done here in the Haas IndyCar Series. Thank you guys so much for watching. On behalf of Mike and Nat, we will see you guys next weekend for the Body Armor Duel at the Glen in the Haas IndyCar Series. Here are the points for the Haas IndyCar Series after 11 races, and I will see you guys later.